I think you don't understand that you're like a little bit intimidating. Sometimes I'm like, oh no, the Mossad's gonna the facade. I meant to say facade. I meant to say facade, but I said Mossad, which those words are pretty close. I'm only actually one letter off technically. Ask me to spell facade. F-O-S-S-A-D. Facade. F-O-S-S-A-D.
You have autism.
What's wrong with that? I'm passionate about stuff. I don't wish you would do anything.
I can't control you.
Good to be here. Welcome to Recine time. It is February. Last week was Valentine's Day. I hope you all had a lovely Valentine's Day with the person that you love. The one person that you love. Because as we have established, we are a pro-monogamy podcast. You know, monogamy. Although I had a dream last night that Deb cheated on me. Can you believe that? I was very mature about it. You know, very mature. When I woke up, but I got to tell you, I kind of knew that it was a dream in the dream. That's been happening to me lately. I think as I'm getting older, I know something's a dream. So I was like, this is just dream Deb. She would never actually do this. I didn't wake up and interrogate her about it. I was a little pissed, but I guess I sort of expected it. I guess in that version of me was like, all right, good, I got her. I got her dead to rights, you know. But we had a nice Valentine's Day. We went to the Mussolini Museum. There is a museum in New York City called Poster House. It's a poster museum, and they had an exhibit of posters from fascist Italy. And I told Deb on Saturday, because Saturday was Valentine's Day, and I told Deb, I said, we should go to this because it's only around for one more week. So I didn't really know much about Mussolini, okay, going into this thing. But what I did learn was that Mussolini was kind of like the original. He was kind of like the original fascist. Hitler was inspired by Mussolini. I don't know if you know this. And I also found this out because apparently his death was not the best. Did you know that? I mean, I know he was like killed by a mob and everything, but I didn't know it was like this. But I'm looking at this thing in the exhibit, and it says by April of 1945, Mussolini's position, even in his largely imaginary government, became untenable, and he flew toward the Swiss border with his mistress. On April 27th, they were caught by Italian partisans and summarily executed in the next days. His ally, Adolf Hitler, would commit suicide 2 days later. It is possible that Hitler saw what happened to Mussolini, and he was like, oh no, yeah, As Mussolini's body had been a symbol of the regime's strength, it now became an equally powerful symbol of its downfall. A mob of partisans, angry Italian civilians, and U.S. soldiers watched as Mussolini's corpse was dragged to a public square in Milan that had recently been the site of a partisan execution. He was stripped, beaten, urinated and defecated upon, and finally hung upside down from a gas station rafter. This edition of the American military newspaper, The Stars and Stripes, from April 30th was one of many that announced his execution. With Mussolini's death, the Allied war in Italy was effectively over. His absence left a vacuum for the American and British occupation that would lead to a new era of very different propaganda. So I didn't know that. I mean, I really can't stop thinking about this because if you hate somebody, I understand attacking them with a mob and then maybe we got a little pee in us. Everybody's got a little pee in their body. I could always pee a little bit. if someone that I hated was getting the shit beaten out of them, I could squeeze something. I think most people could. Him being defecated on is a whole other level of how much they hate this dude. You know what I mean? Like okay, it's like they're peeing on him. Fine. But then after they're peeing on him, they're like, and now does anybody have to poop? Does anybody have to do a number 2? Come on. And then maybe nobody did, and they had to like go around the village and be like, "Hey, we're about to kill Mussolini. Does anyone want to shit on Mussolini's head before we string him up? That's not like that. Did they wait a little bit? Did they wait to like? Were they like eating prunes and dates and just like? I mean, they really did not like this guy, and it's just a great reminder of like, I don't know, death just kind of comes for everybody. There's people with a lot of power who do a lot of bad stuff, and then they die, and then they're gone, and they can't do anything. They can't defend themselves. They can't, and it's like how you die really is a reflection of how you lived. Imagine a mob is beating the shit out of you, and then they start pooping on you. I feel like you might be like, okay, where did I? You might be like, right? You're probably wondering how I got here. You're probably wondering, yeah. But I was thinking about fascist Italy a lot because like I said, there was not really. Italy was kind of when Mussolini came into power. Italy was kind of in the shitter. Okay, they really did not have much of a military, even though he wanted to project this image. His whole thing was like, let's bring back the Roman Empire. Italy was not doing very well, and their country was led by this king. But Italy had just become recently united as a country. They were suffering from weak leadership, but I think the country was having kind of an identity crisis, And they were like, what? Because Italy is interesting because it's kind of it's not a dump. But people need to sort of people in Italy don't really have their shit together. Italy is not Germany. Italy's not the UK. Italy's not America. Italy is Italy. It's 3:00 in the afternoon and I'm making pasta sauce. I'm barefoot making pasta sauce. You know what I mean? They're not like an industrious, they're not like a mighty country, and they're not supposed to be. I know thousands of years ago they had the Roman Empire, but that was a long time ago, and it's like Italy needed to figure out who it was. And to me, Italy is a country where you sit around and you drink wine at 2 p.m. That's why I brought some wine with me for the show. I was thinking about that because I was like, yeah, they're like wine. They're like wine in the afternoon. They're only leisure. It's only like I don't know if you've ever been there, but nobody's ever at work. Here we go. It's Recine time. No one's ever at work. No one's ever. Cheers. Yeah. It's almost like the Roman Empire. That's a good one. Yeah, it's a good wine. It's a Montepulciano. My dad gets this a lot. It's like a nice, cheap shout out to whoever.
Stomped on that with their bare feet.
Whoever stomped on that with their bare feet, with their big feet. Their big.
And their Italian free time.
They're all their Italian free time. Yeah. Some old lady.
Shout out to whatever fairly wage paid guy stomped on that with his feet and then took a 4-hour lunch break and then
no,
and then got
exactly.
paid leave when his wife was pregnant.
Exactly. But it's like that's who they're supposed to be, Mussolini comes into power and he's like, we got to bring back the Roman Empire. We got to fight wars. It was all about because I think what a lot of people don't think about, or what's not there, because there was a quote from Mussolini on the wall, and it said, "Fascism." It's good, right? It's a good wine. It says something like fascism should actually be called corporatism, because fascism is a mix. It's a mix of corporate power with like nationalism, right? This is all very new to me, by the way. All this, I'm not like educated or anything, but fascism is corporate power merged with the state. Yeah, but then it's like your ideology can't just be corporate power. It can't just be, you have to like give the people something. So Mussolini was like, he was always kind of like working, or like he was always, you know, he was short and kind of fat, but he always had his shirt off and he was like working in the field. So it was like the aesthetics were like, yeah, we're kind of working class, but it wasn't working class, and it wasn't. He was very anti-communist, and he was like, I think he did over 5,000 political assassinations. So it's just kind of it's, you know, you look back on it, it's kind of a thing where you go like, oh, it was fake, right? It was fake, and Italy should have just leaned into, you know, I'm 49 and I live with my mother and I help her make prosciutto sometimes. No, I don't even do that. I'm 49, I live at home. My sister has a wife and kids, but I just live in my parents' basement, and I drink wine at 2:00. You can only have corporate power or working class power. You can't have both. You can't empower, which is obvious, but I guess you're kind of seeing, you got to say, my penis is 6.5 inches, and really it's not even close to that. But it was interesting because I'm out here, look at me, I'm doing I don't know, but it's kind of like, it's like Trump working at McDonald's, right? Remember when he was like working at McDonald's and everyone was like, this is awesome. This is, yeah. So it's kind of, it's interesting to look at history and you go like, people need something that's not, they need something real. They need something real or they're going to shit on you. They're going to shit on you and you're going to have a very undignified death. This exhibit, though, at Poster House, it was pretty cool because it was all posters from fascist Italy. And what's funny about it is there was an Italian writer named Antonio Gramsci, and he sort of talked about like cultural hegemony. And his whole thing was like, okay, the state used to oppress you with the military, but now they can just do it through culture. So now it's like they make us kind of experience all of the same culture. And you look at these posters, and I got to tell you, like that's what I felt looking at these posters. It's interesting for a second, but then you go like, okay, these are all like advertisements. This is all fake. They were obsessed with like aviation and airplanes and stuff and war. They didn't want to go to World War II. And when they got dragged in, they were like, all the Italians were like, I can't believe you're making us do this. Because that's not who you are. You're not the Roman Empire. Let's try to make a new shape of pasta on Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Have you ever done that? You make homemade pasta? Well, because once you learn how to make the dough, you're like, oh, I can do anything. I can do spaghetti. I can do fettuccine. I can do angel hair. Not that you'd want to do angel hair. But the thing with pasta is like once you learn how to make the dough, you can do anything. You can start rolling it up into little like pencil points. You can do rigatoni. You can do like, you could do anything. You could do ravioli. If
10
you
pasta shapes.
Recine. Off the dome? Off the dome, I mean ravioli's number one for sure. I would say let's do ravioli just off the dome. Let's go ravioli number 1. Let's go rigatoni number 2. Let's go spaghetti number 3, just because it's like kind of universal. Let's go tagliatelle number 5. Let's go, let's go gnocchi number 6. Let's go tortellini number 7. Let's go, now we're getting kind of not. Oh, let's go pappardelle number 8. And I need 3 more. No, 8. No, 9 and 10. Let's go bucatini number 9. You do. I mean, I should have. I wish I knew you were going to ask me this because I would have sat down and like really laid it all out. But I'm not Italian in that way where I'm like the top pasta, the best pasta. All right, maybe I'll go like peachy because that's like little and it's like and that's nice. I said spaghetti already, right? Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll go peachy because you can put like a creamy sauce on there. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So Italian, like art under fascism is very hegemonic, and it's all very similar. And the posters that I saw at this museum were very like, oh, okay, I get it, towering, like it's a towering Fiat ad. It's all very big. It's all very like, oh, look at us, look at our Air Force. They didn't even really have an Air Force, Italy. They didn't even have an aircraft carrier. They had a few planes in their military, but their military was kind of like just sort of bullshit. And it just got me thinking, like, art, when art is done in the service or in the agenda of like some kind of government, it's never very good. It never really makes you feel anything. And I think we're kind of seeing that nowadays with anybody who's like, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing any kind of comedy or art or podcasts even that are that good, except this one. I think it does feel kind of hegemonic. I think when you watch stuff like Kill Tony and that sort of ilk, it's very predictable and just it doesn't make you feel anything, you know? And I do kind of think that I drew a crab yesterday, okay? Because Deb bought oil pastels, and I was like, let me just see what I can do with these pastels. And I think it's kind of interesting because, like, if you told 100 different people draw a crab, 100 different people would draw something completely different, and it would all be sort of like an expression of themselves. And I do kind of feel like that's missing from our culture. Like, you don't see as much. You're not seeing as much individual expression anymore. And I just think that, like, I don't know, like, drawing stuff, people should be drawing stuff, I guess, because everything feels a little bit flat and bland. And I wonder if there's a connection to be made between, like, our culture and the government that we're living under. Yeah, it just feels like making some kind of art is almost like, I hate to say it's like resistance because that feels kind of cheesy.
It is resistance, sure. Like, you could intentionally do that.
Yeah.
But also, if we all had more leisure time and we all weren't struggling to survive, we would all naturally be more creative.
Yeah, I just don't see a lot of like individual expression anymore. And it's kind of like, and I'll be honest with you, it's not a great crab. I mean, it's not anything amazing. But there is like a uniqueness.
But you were doing it for doing its sake. You weren't doing it to market it and make money off of it. So it doesn't have to be amazing. You were doing it because it probably like helped your own mood to do it in that moment, to express yourself a little. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen this crab. I'll wait till I see it because maybe
it's okay.
It's like an anti-Semitic caricature, and now I'm on the record praising you doing it.
Right. You know what? Let me redo it actually because I forgot. I guess it might be. It's my landlord series of different animals as landlords. It's a crab, a snake, a chameleon, you know, pretends to be, yeah. But no, but I feel like you see that with cities too, like New York City there used to be a lot more individual expression. There used to be more small businesses and kind of like, you know, like whatever it was, Steve's lunch counter or whatever. There's more. But it's almost counterintuitive of being anti-capitalism because capitalism, you think that's kind of like about the individual expression, but no, but it's not. But don't capitalists talk about? Isn't that a thing of the right, the individual?
Oh, yeah, that's the propaganda. That's like what you were talking about, Mussolini in the fields.
Yeah.
That's the story for us because they can't be broadcasting messages of, hey, we're merging corporate and state power. We're going to let the state power be controlled by private interests. So instead they have to say, oh, this is about individualism, bootstraps.
Yeah.
And this is a meritocracy and anyone can make it here. Look at this TV show where this poor guy is now, he's a singer.
Right. I mean, but like the number one podcast in the country is a guy talking
Joe Rogan?
Yeah, it's a guy talking to billionaires now.
Well, of course it is. Think about it. The bigger you are, the more they need you. So even if Joe Rogan organically grew, which he probably did, he organically became like super big. Once he's big, he has to be captured or else he
Right.
has to be shot down.
Right. It's almost like we're on a highway. We're all on a highway to a bad place. We forgot to get off the off-ramp, and now we're headed towards a Wendy's. But I heard Wendy's is closing a bunch of their stores. That's kind of crazy. They're doing they're closing 5 to 6% of their stores because I guess fast food is getting too expensive for people. So yeah, it's gonna be the future's gonna be rice and beans and drawing pictures of crabs in your house. You're gonna eat rice, you're gonna eat oatmeal, and you're gonna draw crabs, and you're gonna get a set of crayons from Five Below. You can pretend to eat the crab that you drew. No, but I just feel like individual expression is like we got to be doing more of it. We got to be making more stuff, I guess. I don't know. It's like cultural hegemony. We got to resist that by doing things that only we can do. Do more karaoke. If you're musically inclined, make an album that's just your queefs. What were you saying?
No, that's a great idea.
Thanks.
I was just saying, like, yes, on an individual basis, you can decide to make more art and all that. But also, this is all downstream of economics.
Mm-hmm.
And that has to be fixed first. Mm-hmm. People's lives need to get materially better. And
Okay.
then we will naturally be more creative and more artistic and more joyful and all this crap.
Right.
We'll be drawing so many crabs.
Right.
But like, yes, on an individual basis, you could personally start drawing a crab every day, and that will probably help your mental health a little bit.
Yeah.
And it will be cool and all that stuff. But is it like, if you want to really change things?
Yeah, we need to get Obama 2.0 so we can open more burger restaurants. Right. Yeah.
And it's called fucking burgers.
Fucking burgers.
The slutty burger.
Yeah, right. Eat burgers like you give a fuck. Anal fisting fries. Hey, is this your first time here? Is it your first time at Fries in My Ass? We do things a little differently around here. Let me explain. So all of our fries, all of our potatoes are naturally sourced. They're naturally sourced from right here in Brooklyn. They're grown right here in Brooklyn, and on the side there's we give you an extra fry to put in your ass when you get home. Thank you, President Malia Obama, for making this possible. Because under fascism, this would have never been allowed. But now we've opened up Fries in My Ass. Yeah, that was a store, right? Slutty. What was it called? Oh, Egg Slut. Yeah, Egg Slut. That was like a decade ago, though. Egg Slut. Imagine having. It's 10 years later. Now you're like 38. I own eggs. No, I don't want. No, I don't. So we can't change the name at all. Welcome to Sausage Pussy. Hey guys, we do things a little differently around here. I was talking to my baristas at the coffee shop today, and they were like, we were talking about like millennials and Gen Z, because the one girl was a millennial and the one girl's a Gen Z. The Gen Z girl was like, "What's it like to be millennial? What was it like to be millennial? What was it like?" And I was like, we got a little bit of hope. We got a little bit of optimism. I guess it's good that we got to experience that. It's good that in 2009 we elected Obama, and we were like, we did it. We did it. We changed the world. When you're lost and alone and you're sinking like a stone, we are young. You just be drunk listening to that in your earbuds, and you'd be like, "This is great. I'm young," and all the bands, they all wore suspenders. They all wore suspenders, and we all went to restaurants with like mac and cheese on the menu. We all ate hot dogs and macaroni and cheese. But it's funny because Gen Z is interesting because they don't have any optimism. You kind of respect it. You kind of respect it because it's like they're almost like Eastern Europeans, Gen Z. They're like, "Why would you be happy? Nothing good is happening. There's nothing. Why you're dead ass being cringe right now, bro. Please stop being happy. I'll tell you what though, being like a millennial, being young in like 2014, 2013, it did teach me about feminism. I did have feminism kind of forced down my throat. Liberal feminism, so kind of like not the best kind, right? Not the best kind, but it's good. It's good to familiarize yourself with the things that girls are going through. I think that's a good starting point, right? Liberal feminism is maybe a good starting point for the next stuff that's coming, whatever that may be. I do, Recine Time is a pro-monogamy podcast and a pro-feminist podcast and a feminist podcast. So I do want to put on my feminism hat for a second, because I have noticed that there's some guys out there killing their families. It's not feminist. There was a guy in Brazil, a mayor of a town in Brazil. It says a senior official allegedly shot his 2 sons after the private detective he'd hired to spy on his wife filmed her kissing another man. Thales Alves Naves Machado allegedly fired at both of his children before turning the gun on himself in the early hours of Wednesday, February 11th. The horror unfolded at the family's home in Itumbiara, Brazil. The boy's mother, Sarah Tinoco Araujo, was traveling to Sao Paulo at the time. Miguel Araujo Machado, at 12, was taken to a local hospital but did not survive, as reported by Need to Know. His 8-year-old brother remains in the ICU of another local hospital in critical condition, having undergone surgery. I think I did read a story that the 8-year-old did pass away. Hours before the shooting, Thales 40 shared videos of himself and the boys online, captioned, "May God always bless my children. Daddy loves you very much." This is bullshit. Daddy loves you very much. Your kids didn't cheat on you. It was your wife, and I wonder why. I mean, you can't be killing your kids because your wife did something fucked up. It's almost like we kind of understand probably why she was cheating on you, because you're so selfish and self-centered. You think that like the world revolves around you and that you're allowed to take the lives of your son to hurt your wife. And your wife gets a little bit of happiness. Your wife gets a little bit of a break. She gets to go to Applebee's and make out with some guy, right? Some guy buys her margaritas and is nice to her.
Do we know for sure that she was cheating though, or is that just his story?
Yeah, there's a video of her kissing.
Okay.
So she was cheating. I don't know, dude. Everybody gets cheated on. Everybody gets cucked at some point, because it's so normalized in films and TV that everybody thinks it's like a normal thing now. But yeah, but you know what? People are human, and also like you have to. Relationships are tough because it's like we're entering into this commitment, this contract, and we're both human beings. We're both flawed people. Listen, you live in Bushwick. There's plenty of hot guys walking around everywhere, right? You're trying to be in a relationship. You're in this committed relationship, but you never know. You might see a guy in a top hat and goggles walking around, and you're like, damn, I bet his dad. I bet he's a woman in a top hat and goggles, and you're like, I bet she's from generational wealth. Oh, look, that's Kamala Harris's stepdaughter over there. I better go say what's up. I think that relationships are hard, and I think if you're a guy, maybe it is a good idea if you're entering a relationship to cheat in the beginning, cheat a couple times. Some of the most successful relationships that I know, right? They start dating, they start being exclusive. Maybe the guy's not ready. The guy gets caught cheating. The guy apologizes. She takes him back, but there's an understanding there that like if she has sex with somebody, or if she makes a mistake, if she gets drunk, if she goes to a popular band, I don't even know, a One Direction concert. If One Direction gets back together and Harry Styles invites her backstage and they make out, at least there will be an understanding that like you kind of brought this on yourself. You should be ready. You should be ready for it. I think though I think there's a lot of successful relationships where that happens. I think a good relationship is where guy cheats in the beginning, girl gets a cheat free card, and then everybody's good, and then so if you do get cheated on one time, the girl gets a pass, okay, and then you don't end up shooting your kids in the head. The guy needs to be ready for it to happen.
But then she'll never truly respect him, and like then
because he cheated.
Yeah, and then your relationship's like kind of on a shitty foundation where like she doesn't see you as like a man.
You think that's true? I'm just saying it'd be nice if you could avoid someone killing the kids.
Okay.
You know?
Heard. Yeah, that's
So
better.
it's like,
What you're describing is better than murdering everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. If that guy was like, "Oh no, you got me," you know? Oh no, it's payback. It's a little bit of an easier pill to swallow.
The woman cheated on the husband, right?
Yeah.
And then he should have just cheated back instead of killing everyone, is what you're saying.
No. The guy should have already cheated. The relationship should start with the guy cheating. The relationship has to start with the guy cheating. The woman takes him back. The guy knows deep down that if he gets cheated on, he deserves it.
Got it. So had he just cheated, then when he found out she cheated, he wouldn't have killed everyone.
He would have killed
just
everyone.
said, okay.
Yeah. I know that you don't like this plan, but this plan is
I love it.
It is going to
This is like voting for the Democrats when the alternative is the Republicans.
It's like harm reduction. Yeah. It's the best case scenario for everybody. Because the other case scenario is like, because I guess for guys, it's like if a guy gets cheated on, it's like embarrassing. Whereas maybe for women, it's like maybe a little different because it's, I don't know, because all guys are.
Yeah, but you don't have a foundation. You can't have a relationship without trust. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can if you like take the time to really build it back, and that takes a long time and a lot of work. And it's like, who's really worth that amount of work? You only have one life to live.
But what I'm saying is, what's better? Like, oh my God, you cheated on me. I can't believe you did this. How could you? I dedicated my whole life to you. Or shit, you got me. Yeah, I deserve it. Damn, this sucks. But I'm saying this guy should have got a little bit. This guy should have got caught at the beginning, and then he wouldn't have been surprised. To enter a partnership with somebody, you do have to sacrifice. I feel like everybody feels like they sacrifice something when they choose to be in a relationship with somebody. Everybody is responsible to their partner. I think it's tough maybe for my wife because my wife's very like independent, and I think it's tough like to be a very hyper independent person and then be responsible to somebody. It almost becomes like it almost becomes like, oh well, I just did this my whole life and I just do what I want to do. You can't really do what you want once you're in a relationship. You can't really do what you want to do. Once you have kids, you can't do what you want to do. Once you get married and have kids, I think especially for guys, you do become kind of a slave. I do want to talk about this. I am basically a slave to my family. Luckily, I like my family, but I'm kind of realizing as I get older that like I don't want to say I don't have agency anymore, but it's not about me anymore. You know what I mean? Deb wanted me to install this baby gate in our house. My mom got us a baby gate, and so I had to install it. And I went through such a roller coaster of emotions, like installing this thing, because there's metal behind our drywall. I went to the hardware store, got another drill bit, and then I needed to use, the anchors that I had were too long because there was metal behind the drywall. And so anchors are only for drywall because they don't expand the metal, obviously. So you can't drill, you can drill into metal, but you can't put a plastic anchor in there and have it do what you need it to do because that's for drywall. Plastic anchors are amazing for drywall. They're meant for drywall. So even if you can drill a hole into the metal, you can't put the anchor in there. I think I have Nazi gold or something in my walls. What am I getting at here? It was such a roller coaster.
That's cute. So your baby's walking around. He needs a gate now.
Yeah, we got to keep him out of the. And then I mounted our kitchen cabinet to the wall. Nice. So he can't he can't. But at one point I was putting up this baby gate, and I was like, I don't even care.
I don't even need this baby.
I don't
that
even
much.
care if something falls on him. I just want to get this over with. But I got it done. I got because I have anchors. I have anchors that are shorter in my toolbox, like actual good anchors, right? That I bought from another project. So I was able to put those in. The point that I'm getting at is that once it's done, you do kind of feel like a god. Once the thing is in and it's secure. I mean, this thing is like, you should come over to my house. I want you to come over to see how strong this baby gate is, because I'm like, this is great. I feel awesome. What I'm getting at though is how is this related? It's related because I tried to do it the night before and I didn't have the right tools. Like I didn't have the right size drill bit, and I was hitting metal, so I couldn't get the anchor in. And I was like, I feel like a piece of shit. Like I feel like a cuck that I can't do this. But then I was like, this isn't even like funny to me. Like heterosexuality is such a joke, you know? The idea that your wife is like, can you install this for me? And then you like try to do it, but you can't do it. You don't have the right tools, and you feel like a failure. Like it's just so tired to me. I just want to be a rich gay guy is what I'm getting at.
Hey, yo.
With a husband. I just want to be a rich West Village gay guy who pays TaskRabbit people to do this, because I'm like, this is so. I felt like a peasant trying to get this stuff done. When it was over, I felt amazing. She did kind of like emasculate me a little bit, which she never does. But I was like, because I tried to do it Sunday night. I had to finish it on Monday after I went to the hardware store. I go, I wish you told me this because I don't have the right size drill bit. I wish I like looked at my stuff. And she was like,
why would she have to tell you that?
Yes, but we didn't have the right size drill bit.
But why
to
would
drill
she
the
know
anchors
what?
into the-
Don't you have the instruction? Why would she have to know what drill bit you needed? Basically, you had an emotional outburst. Okay.
Maybe I did. Yeah, but she was the one. She was the one who wanted the baby gate filled in. Right. She was the one who wanted the baby gate installed. I don't care. I don't care if the baby lives or dies.
I understand that, but the drill bit piece, like you're saying, you wish you knew so that you could get the right drill bit. How would she have known?
Because I wish that she looked at the instructions and was like, "Here's what you need." Because
That's
she's the one who
your
wanted
job.
it done. That's my job.
No,
Okay.
That's crazy.
Okay.
You also
All right,
want
fine.
her to hold the drill up for you?
Okay, fair.
That's crazy,
Fair.
Mike. I wish
Because it
he
won't-
read the instructions. At that point, what are you there for?
You never take my side. And
That's not true.
It's all right. Have you ever taken
All the time, Mike.
against Deb? You've taken my side.
Not against Deb.
Yeah. Okay. But she did say to me, she was like, "I wish you took some initiative and figured out what size drill bit you needed." And I was like, "Fuck."
It's kind of true, right?
Yeah. No, it is. I guess it is true.
Yeah. But if I were talking to Deb right now, if I were her producer, I'd be like, look, you can't even say stuff like that to him. You just have to let him figure it out. Mm-hmm. And then when he does, reward him and praise him.
Right.
But you can't tell him to take initiative. It has to be like his idea, kind of, which is annoying.
But there's a thing with relationships where it's like, if you're a man and your female partner wants something done, you can't like say no. You can't bitch out. You can't say like, oh no, we can't do this. And there was a point where I was actually worried. I was like, what if there's too much metal behind this drywall and we can't, and it's not doable. I think that's the big fear, right? The big fear when you're doing the project is like, we're not going to be able to figure it out. I'm going to have to abandon this project. And that is very emasculating.
Only if you leave it unfinished. I mean, I think you just need to have more faith in yourself. Okay, let's say
But
the metal...
this isn't something I do that much these days.
No, not about baby gates specifically. You just need to believe that whatever challenges come up, you'll be able to handle them. So, okay, let's say there's the metal and you don't have the right pieces and we can't go into the wall. Then you're going to go buy another gate. Because they make ones where it's like a track.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You need to understand that, like, I'm going to see this through no matter what it means. Maybe it means not putting a gate here and putting it somewhere else in the house.
Right.
Or buying some attachment at Home Depot to make it adhere to something. Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right.
There's always a way.
Yeah.
You could hire someone to do it too. That's another way of solving it.
No, but
the problem is solvable. Or you kill the baby. There's always a solution, is what I'm saying.
I was literally getting there, and I thought that was going to be a big punch, and you beat me to it. Yeah, it's like your ultimate fear is that you're going to have to, like, become trans and kill your family. Because I used the anchors that came with the thing, and I got them in, but then they weren't, like, I drilled a hole that was so big into the wall that the anchors weren't catching the drywall, so I had to, like, pull the anchors out, which took, like, forever. Because I couldn't get the anchors out of the wall, and that was when I banged my head against I literally banged my head against the wall. I went a couple times, but at least I didn't start taking hormones and kill my family at a roller rink, at an ice skating rink like that guy did. Did you see that story? There was a trans woman who shot her wife and her ex-wife and son at an ice skating rink in Rhode Island. But everybody was like, "Oh, look, another trans. Oh, look at this, another trans mass shooter." First of all, there's only been like 6, okay? So before you throw our people under the bus, let's take a minute. Let's just relax. It's mostly cis-het white guys that are doing the mass shootings. A couple trans women, but everybody's like, "Oh, look, another trans mass shooter." But then everybody's pointing out that she was MAGA. So, checkmate. Checkmate. The trans woman mass shooter was MAGA. So sorry conservatives. Sorry conservatives and liberals, you guys lose again. Everyone loses. And it's a shame. I wish that lady called me when she was trying to install. She was probably trying to install something in her house, and she didn't, you know? There should be a support group for that. But I think that is the hardest thing about when your wife wants you to install something, having to be like, "I don't think we can do this." Oh no. Honey, I don't think this is, I think that's where all the stress comes from.
Right, because you want her to respect you as a man. You don't want to feel inept.
But that's
if you just respected yourself as a man, then you would solve the problem. There's no baby gate drywall issue that's unsolvable. Like, people have been putting these baby gates up in their apartment. No, you're very right. You're very right. You can do it. You might have to Google it for a few minutes, but you can do it easily.
And you know what's funny? We live directly across the street from a hardware store. I can be at a hardware store in like literally 20 seconds. Amazing. Yeah. All right. That's the show, everybody. I just want to thank everyone for listening. And maybe I'm not supposed to be rich. Maybe I would be dead or targeted by the feds if I was, you know. So I really do want to count my blessings and thank and be happy that I get to do this show every week and that I get to create art and that no one will poop on my head when I die. I'm pretty sure people like me enough, and that feels good. It feels good. It feels good to know that no one's gonna shit on me when I die. So thank you. Patreon.com/Recine Time. I want to thank all of our new patrons. It really feels good to see those numbers go up and up and up. Okay, so please go over to Patreon, join the community. It's you get a bonus episode every single week, and I want to thank all you guys and Patreon.com/Recine Time. Take care. Bye bye.